dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 292. Chris, I'm catching you mid-drink. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
What are you sipping on over there?
I have my Jack and Coke.
Oh, Jack and Coke. You went to the old standard, reliable.
Well, it's a little bougie-ish. It's a gentleman Jack and Coke.
Oh, I was going to say, are you doing single barrel?
No,
single barrel and Mexican Coke?
That would be wrong.
That would be wrong. Gentleman Jack and Coke, that is sophisticated. That's very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I had my pinky out and everything, so it's all good.
That's good. So
but this is the first alcohol I've had in about a week. Last time I had a Jack and Coke was at a bowling alley for the holiday party at work because I work in hospitality, so we do everything after the holidays are over when things slow down. And I've started exercising pretty aggressively and cut out the alcohol during the week. So
hey, good for you.
Yeah,
because you got a little home gym, I noticed there.
Yeah, well, I got an elliptical, if you call that a home gym.
Well, that's a home gym. That's a good thing. Hey,
yeah, I mean, I'm a week into my exercising, and I actually feel a lot better. And as you said, pre-show, I don't look any better, but I feel better. So that's winning in that regard.
That's why we do podcasts, because we have faces for radio, Chris.
That's exactly
but that's good.
It.
That's good, man. Exercise is good. Well, you're going to get your exercise at KOH coming up here pretty quick. So
I know it's only a couple weeks
away. We're going to get a final number here from one of our interviewees this evening. Our special guest in the house.
Absolutely.
In Minden, Nevada. But before we get to our special guest, I have a voicemail to play.
Got a little podcast business to do and a voicemail.
Yeah.
Well, let her rip, Tater Chip. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. It's down south, 805 area code.
That's good beer, by the way.
Hopefully their house isn't on fire.
No shit. You had to bring that up.
I know. Well, it's
by the time this episode drops,
because it's definitely Friday. Yeah, definitely Friday, and I like to listen to new shows on Tuesday. Yeah, definitely Tuesday. And today is Friday. It's not Tuesday. And I was listening, and there was not a new show on Tuesday. And I'm definitely still driving, and I need to listen to a new show. So please, can you please have a new show by next Tuesday, please? Because I definitely drive on Tuesdays, and I need to listen to a new show. Yeah. And definitely, Toyotas suck.
Okay, so that was last Friday. We're recording on a Sunday.
We are,
and yes, we had some technical difficulty this past week.
We did. I had to do some magic.
You did. You worked. Yeah, you worked your ass off on this edit. We got a new Zoom recorder, and it just wasn't working out to our benefit.
No,
even though we did test recordings and everything, and we're not going to put out crap. So if it's not up to our standards, we're not putting it out. So that's what happened. It was not up to our standards. It didn't go out. But Chris, by some miracle, worked I don't know what kind of magic wand you got over there, but you did something to make this episode happen.
It's post-production wizardry, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, wizardry shit. So that episode that was supposed to air this last Tuesday will air the past Tuesday, because we're time traveling right now.
Yeah,
and
we're
this
all
podcast will be the following Tuesday. So if you're still with us, and he did say Toyota sucks. So I think this was Dusty Drone. Looking forward to seeing him on the lake bed.
Absolutely.
He just put out an IG post today of a 1/6 scale of the LaserNet car with a fucking camera on it.
That's my dream. I want to do that.
It's like VR though. He can wear this headset, and where he turns his head is where this camera looks, I think.
Oh, that's badass. That's my dream.
It's gonna be. He did it last year during the 4400 race. They featured him on there, but yeah, he's innovative. So yes, so be patient. Episodes coming out. We miss a couple one every now and then. I think we missed like 4 out of 5 years. So I'm gonna say we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing. I think our percentages are pretty good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty good. Now, if you do want, like, see, we're quality over quantity. But if you want to listen to Snail Trail and get, updates on septic systems and Toyota's braking axles and shit and baby diaper changing, then you can listen to that podcast. That's fine.
They have like 6 episodes a week now or something. I'm not even sure.
We love you guys, but yeah, we need more forward drive talk. So with that said, Chris, what do we do on this podcast?
We give till it hurts.
Exactly right. We give till it hurts here, and these guests here sitting in the Nevada studio have been on the podcast before.
Oh yeah,
one of them's been on the podcast numerous times. I think it's the third.
Gotta check that box. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, you got to look because she's in competition with Kevin Jones, Ultra 4 Jones, and I know it's pretty neck and neck. It's like 1 or 2 episodes away from each other. And she actually co-hosted some episodes too. So
that's right. When you were down at the first year, I think, or second year, you went to
Trail Hero.
Trail Hero. That's right.
Yes. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
We have Randy, motherfucking Slawson, and Amber, newly married Slawson. Holy hell.
About 5 or 6 months ago.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since you guys have been on.
Yeah,
It's
true.
Still in the honeymoon phase.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So welcome to the podcast, pre-KOH. We got a lot of exciting stuff to share. Yes.
Yeah. Lots of exciting stuff.
Lots of exciting stuff.
Mostly that our countdown is now 10 days.
10 days.
Until we leave.
Okay, 10 days until you leave.
Wow.
But that's... Wait, where's the calendar? Did we only have 10 days?
That's not what I got.
But then there's the I don't know. It's a 3-week long process here. Yeah. Holy hell! So the 24th is when the gates open.
Yes,
right.
Which is
like the Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. All right. Well, we're in the thick of it now. So, let's talk some KOH shit.
KOH shit.
You're going to start? You start.
Randy hasn't said anything yet.
Well, he's very comfortable. We are going to have to wake him up, I think, here in a minute. He's in the easy chair, reclined. Got him a mic stand. He doesn't even have to hold a mic.
Just napping.
Bougie.
Needs a bourbon.
Let's start with the 4800. Okay, because that's on Thursday.
Yeah. So, for anyone that's not caught up, I'm racing the Bomber.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, exactly. I'm racing the Bomber in the 4800 race this year on Friday. Me and Tom Liu will be doing the whole race, not like last year where Mike raced the first half and then we switched. And yeah, I've been prepping that car since we got back from Christmas. We were down there for Christmas. Just going through everything, making sure it's all kosher. I've got a list that's like, I've been making this list for months on this car of just like little things that we've changed on it and stuff that needs to be done. And so I'm just checking things off, getting it ready.
So that car was a brand new chassis last year, and Randy won the 4800 last year in it.
Correct.
And then you drove it. So Randy's brother, Mike, drove it in the desert lap, and then you drove it in the rock lap last year for the 4400.
Also correct.
Okay. So, and all you changed was the seat position and then tires and shocks. You didn't do any? No, you didn't do any
change
shocks.
Shocks. No, it's the same shocks. Car.
It was seat position and tires basically for the 4400 race.
Yeah.
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 And then,
Oh, and Mike drove your first lap in 44
That's
too, right?
right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
my brother Mike drove lap 1 and qualified.
That's right.
To start, you have to qualify. So he qualified in 48 and in 44 in that car.
Wow. That's right. Okay, so yeah, so then fast forward to now. So you've had quite a bit of seat time in that car lately down in the desert. You guys have been down in the desert a couple times
Yeah.
doing
So
shock tuning and stuff.
I can't think right now. I think we've only had the 48 car down in Johnson Valley 2 extra times this year, once in the spring and once for Christmas. But we've been taking it out in the desert here in Nevada a whole bunch too. We did one weekend that was like close to 400 miles.
You went out to Sand Mountain.
Yeah, went out to Sand Mountain and back. That was such a rad day. Just learning how to drive in the desert and getting faster. And like this last time we were down there was like exactly what I wanted to do. Like we went down for a week and we wheeled every single day and we did hard stuff and we did fast stuff. And like that's how I learned how to drive my Samurai, was doing EJS, and you go wheeling every single day.
Right.
So this was wheeling a bomber in Johnson Valley every single day. So
And how was that?
awesome. I think one day we ran like 13 trails
Really?
in a matter of like 4 or 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we do.
And there was and then so Randy had his car, and then there was a couple other cars with you?
It was just us the whole time.
Really?
Actually.
No, we we had the NFC guys.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
The-
for
the
2
one day.
days. The one day.
One day we ran around with them all day.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How long would it have taken you to run those trails in the Samurai?
We don't have the time to talk about that.
It's a good pre-runner.
Right on.
Hey, that Samurai did how many hammers?
5.
5
Yeah.
hammers.
And I always DNF'd because of time, never because of a mechanical
A mechanical
failure.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is impressive. And for that car to even still be driving with all the shit that it's been through, not just hammers, but all the other trail shenanigans.
I mean, it's not currently running because the
Well,
intermediate shaft decided to leave the chat, but
Wow.
yeah, it's impressive little machine.
but you're planning on having it out there this year.
I'm gonna try real
Okay.
hard
All right.
because I mean, it's like it's kind of iconic.
It is
I
iconic.
I feel
It
like
is
I'm
iconic.
taking something away from everybody else if I don't bring it. I'll feel bad. But yeah, it'd be nice to have something to run around in and something because I mean that thing will do most of the rock trails that the 48
Right.
car will do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good pre-runner.
Yeah, no, that's good. But yeah, you got 400 more horsepower in the bomber, and not to mention a bunch of other niceties that works a lot better out in the rocks. And
Coilovers,
Co-
and four-link
yeah.
suspension.
moving on up,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that-
Real steering.
real steering, hydraulic steering, hydraulic
Real
ram.
axles with all the width,
Yeah,
real size tires.
yeah, yeah. So what's it? Let's see. So you've been at Bomber now. Are we going to say 2.5, 3 years?
So
How long has it been?
May of 21.
Okay, and here we
Wow.
are, fucking 25.
Is it
We're
3?
not in May of 25, but yeah. So it's been a hot minute, and that was like a dream job for you to
Yeah.
get to do some
Race
build
car
some
shit.
race car shit, right?
Yeah.
And then here you are getting to you raced last year and won, and now this year is like, I mean, full on, right? Like you're doing every lap, you're involved in every detail of this 4800 race with the bomber.
Yes. That escalated quickly.
Yeah, it did. It did. Do you like wake up in the morning and pinch yourself when you're like pulling a third with that third member? How heavy was that third member?
I think they're like 89 pounds. Yes, I pinch myself when I get to do that kind of stuff. I'm not even kidding. I'm still stoked on it. So just like and like Chris was talking about how he's doing his strength training. I've been doing my strength training, and like I can move around axle housings by myself, and
Yeah.
you know that I get stoked on that kind of stuff and building spider tracks axle housings and TIG welding and I'm still stoked.
Laying down some dimes. Yeah,
Nice.
Randy and I did some strength training yesterday, moving in your freaking home gym.
I appreciate it. Me and I get this thing home, and I'm like, Randy, can you help me move this? And then Jason texts me about 2 minutes later, and he's like, can I come over?
I'm
like-
in the area. Are you home?
Sweet, you gonna help me move some workout equipment?
Timing's everything. So
It was
did you
perfect.
use it today?
I kind of put it through a couple paces,
Okay.
but I didn't like work out.
Yeah, okay. You're still learning it.
Yeah, still
It's a
learning
cool
it.
little machine.
Yeah, I got it for a good deal. So
Well, no, that's
I'm
good.
stoked.
That's good.
So it's like a universal or a Bowflex or a Solo Flex or what?
It's like some Amazon deal with like, I don't know. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with it.
Oh, nice.
And then you can pick your weight.
Yeah.
You know, you just put a pin in for your weight.
Oh yeah, it's like it kind of like sounds one of those the old Universal days.
It
with the-
is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice home gym. Does
Cool.
legs, arms, everything.
Yeah.
All right. So, what? So you've been down the desert a couple times in this 4800 car. How you feeling right now with just 10 days before you leave and getting ready for Christmas in Johnson Valley, basically? Here.
The most wonderful time of the
The
year.
most wonderful time of the year, exactly.
It's pretty good. Realizing that we only have 10 days left is like kind of making my eyes twitch.
Really?
But I think we'll be all right. I could probably get that car back together in a day or two.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. 10 days.
You do some math. I don't know. I'm bad at it. This is
Well,
why
I mean, I kind of looked it
Today's
up,
the
and so
12th.
when this
I was thinking
episode
about
drops,
you're thinking about leaving the 22nd. Today's the 12th.
No, the 29th.
Oh,
Oh,
29.
the 29th. Okay.
Oh my God! You just got it 7 more days.
yeah, this
Okay, 'cause
this episode's going to drop on the 21st.
It will
so-
drop on the 21st. So yeah. So okay.
So-
Oh well, then yeah, you're good.
I got plenty of time. This samurai is definitely coming.
Sounds like you just need an intermediate shaft on that, and you'll be good to go.
I just
So
need
you
to
got
take
like
the guts out of the
15. You
transmission.
got like 15, 16 days.
yeah.
Look,
Okay.
you just gained
no
5
pressure.
days. You
Okay,
got-
all right. The schedule just changed. We're fine. Everything's fine.
But it is like 10 days before the gates open, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there's that. You're going off your mom's count. Who's been out in the desert for the last 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Has her mailbox been put up yet?
They put up the
They paved
cones.
the driveway.
Yeah.
My God, she's got to drill a well and get the mailbox put up and basically start homesteading.
That's so good.
Plant a garden and be good to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Miles landed on the lake bed. Yeah, I know Pam Hall's on the way, and yeah, shit's going up. It's happening. The Connex got moved today from
Yep.
Cody Wagner's property with all the racers that have previous winners, where Randy's name's on there 3 times.
That's
More than
right.
anybody.
More than anybody?
The
Oh,
Slawson.
because the very first race you were co-dog.
Yep.
There you go. So
And then if you count Slawson's names on
right.
Mike and I have
Mike's on there twice or 3 times he's been with. No, twice he's been with you.
Yeah.
And then Dustin was 1 time.
it. Correct.
Right. Okay. So good. I'm glad you woke up. How you feeling about this? It's an odd year. You seem to
Odd
win
year.
on odd years.
And he's turning 48 this year.
Yeah, this is if you're into numbers,
Okay.
I'm not super into numbers, but whatever. I'm turning 48. My car number's 48-ish, 44, 48.
Yeah.
And we're in an odd year. So it seems like a good time to
The
win.
stars are aligning.
It's a good
not?
time to
Why
win.
not? Why not?
Absolutely.
And you were knocking on the door last year. I mean, you've always been competitive. So minus
Well,
any.
we did get 4,800. So
Yeah, you got 4,800.
overall, not
And then you finished 7th? Was it 7th for 4,400?
no, I didn't have 4,400.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We had a belt get into the dampener pulley seal in the front crank seal.
And that was caused by Bush? You're thinking maybe?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Might have been trimming the bush.
The bush. Too much bush.
Yeah. Like I was mentioning earlier, I've got a list for the 48 car. The list for the 44 car is probably even longer. Like
Really?
I've been going through that thing with a fine tooth comb and trying to figure out all of the little things that could possibly take him out of the race because I want him to win.
Right. First, because you're one of three: Shannon Campbell, Shearer, and you. So it's like, who's going to be the next 4-time king? So, yeah, let's make it happen. Yeah.
So I would think that, looking at the, obviously this coming to, well, it's going to be in the past on this episode, but the pit situation for KOH 2025 is a little bit different than in the past. How are you going to handle that with, on car parts or tools or however that goes? And I'd like to get into the logistics for the race, and I mean for the race itself, but also what the logistics are for your team and getting down to the lake bed. Because I mean, you got 2 race cars plus living accommodations, plus it sounds like the Sammy needs to go, and then of course you have a golf cart now to get transported down to the lake bed. So it's quite the operation going on. So let's get into the logistics a little bit before we talk about the actual race day.
We're gonna rent a train car.
And just lay track between our place and Johnson Valley.
Well, isn't the high-speed railway in yet?
The high-speed Vial.
Well, there's only 1,800 feet of that, so.
Well, the good news is they just burnt a whole nother swath of California. So
Holy shit.
That's too far south, though. Oh my God. Yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, there is a lot of logistics, right? Like getting down there, and then like I don't know. Your pit crew has always been the dust junkies and stuff, but it just seems to happen. At least on my viewpoint. I'm sure there's a lot more phone calls and emails on the backside of things, but it seems like you get a killer pit crew and it happens.
just happens.
It just happens.
So I'm very fortunate on that front that I've got Nick Bailey, and he does my crew chief duties. And whenever somebody hits me up and says, "Hey, do you need any help down there?" I say,
Call Nick.
Okay.
So he handles all that. You just entrust him with that.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that for how many years now?
Man, I'm going to screw that one up. It's been at least 3, maybe 5. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking more than 3, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because I've known him more than 3 years. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, he's super... Yeah, he's very organized and
Detail oriented.
And
he's a good leader too. He's really good at, hey, you go do this.
He is.
Instead of I'm going to do everything myself,
And you have to. You can't do
He's
everything.
good at delegating.
Delegating,
and
exactly.
that's the sign of a good leader, and recognizing strength in people.
Yeah,
their different strengths. Like, you don't send Chris out to go weld up some tube because. When was the last time you welded, Chris?
He got 2 thumbs up.
It's been a hot minute.
But his son, on the other hand, can weld. So you figure out people's strength and let them run with what they do. Give them some ownership, and that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chris alluded to a new golf cart. So you went and picked up a new toy.
Yep, I did. On the 31st of December, because better late than never, I went down and got a new Can-Am Maverick R 2-seater. And then we took it out on the 1st.
That's right.
Did about 100 miles.
Yeah, so you came over here with 16 miles to my house, and then we went out and did like 22 or 25 miles. And then you guys proceeded to just rip out in the desert, had it up to 100.
A number of times. It's supposed to be limited to 99, but You can hit 99 going so fast that it'll coast up to 101.
According to the digital gauge.
Ask him how he knows.
How do I know? I mean, that's
Just gonna
impressive.
send it.
So that thing is not, it's not the live valve, top of the line Maverick R that's out there right now. It's a step up from the entry level, but I mean, to have, and 30-inch tires, I mean, it's pretty mundane when you look at the thing as far as like specs wise, but you go out and send it and do a hundo and 70 into corners, and I mean, that's pretty impressive for a off the showroom floor machine.
They're pretty motivated.
Yeah.
I like the way the transmission works. No more belts.
Yeah. No belt burner.
It might still be 1,000 cc's, but it's making 240 horsepower.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the power to weight ratio is really where it's at, right? I mean, those things weigh what? I don't know. What do they weigh? 1,500 pounds, less than that?
No, the old thousands, like my 2014 Polaris was like 1,400 pounds or 1,200 pounds or something like that. This thing's, I think, 2,400 pounds.
Is it?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
They're getting,
There's some girth in there.
they're getting pretty big.
Yeah.
77 inches wide, and I don't remember how long the wheelbase is.
103 or something.
It's like the size of a Toyota.
Yeah.
Standard cab.
With a lot more horsepower.
Double the horsepower.
You know, 22R in that, right?
22 RE. Yeah, no, but that's the thing, is how crazy capable these things are right out of the box. And then
The
you
suspension travel is insane.
Yeah. The chicken wing front end there. But I mean, yeah, I know you're going to have that thing modified up pretty good and ready for KOH for pre-running.
I don't know how much I'm going to do to it between now and then. I haven't done anything to it yet. But yeah, we'll run lap one a time or two or something and just play with it.
We told ourselves it's not a rock crawler. We have other rigs for
Right.
Yeah, it needs to stay out of the rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I said about mine, but I'm taking it to Johnson's Valley here.
That's your only rig, though.
Well, yeah, for this year. I need tires on the buggy and stuff. It needs some maintenance side. And I'm like, I'm going to send the golf cart. Have you driven it yet?
No, I haven't. Well, like off the trailer, around the yard. I figured out how to unlock the locker. Ooh.
So what's it like riding in that thing?
Oh man, there were so many G outs that we hit that I hurt myself more just bracing for them than the car did.
It just absorbed it.
Took it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into I don't know. Where do we want to go? How about the new chassis that you've been working on for the past year and a half or so, that you finally got one out there?
Yeah, I don't think we've been working on it for a year and a half, but maybe time gets away from me. We've been debating on what to call it: Bomber Reload, Bomber 2, Bomber this, Bomber that. Kind of liking Bomber Reload. Kind of a throwback to Metallica or something like that.
There you go.
But we stretched the nose so that we don't have to run that silly bolt-on bumper anymore to pass tech, and I stretched the tail and gave it more of a bed tray scenario for the spare tire to lay back there, and was able to lower the spare tire down quite a bit and actually tuck it in a little bit more than the old Bomber. It still looks very Bomber, but it's lighter, stronger, faster. So then we built Big and Tall for one of my sponsors, Craig Ford, the owner of Pella Motors in Iowa. And he asked me to go out and put a few miles on it, shake it down, little test and tune before he picked it up. So I got to take Jason out for a rip in it, and my neighbor guy, Jensen, and a couple guys, Ryan, local dude here, Ryan, Yeah, I put 150 miles on it, I guess, running around. But it's a noticeable difference the way the car sits. Got a lower center of gravity, and it really is handling and riding nice. I like it. I'm excited to build myself one soon, hopefully.
Well, you know a guy.
Right?
So let's get into this for a second. I got to ride with you. We went out to lunch and you're like, let's go for a ride in this new car. And I'm like, okay, I just had a fucking bacon cheeseburger and fries. I don't know if I want to ride with Randy motherfucking Slawson in a fucking race car right now. But but you can't say no to that opportunity. And I'm like, I got to check this out. And you said, oh, I'm going to take it easy because it's still my car. So what would you say on a scale of 1 to 100? What percentage were you in, like, because you were definitely in race mode, but like you weren't at 100%. But what would you say? Where were you at? Were you at 80? Because we were hitting some corners at fucking 70 miles an hour. Corners. Not slight turns.
Isn't it crazy how the thing sticks?
It does. And what was cool was watching you maneuver that machine, and you're just like one-handed and like, oh, this thing's handling pretty good. The suspension was soft. I thought it was great, but I could tell that it was soft because it was a pretty cushy ride compared to what I would assume a full-on race what your car is like. I don't know. You probably like you said it was soft.
It was a little softer than how I normally race mine, but we don't have a lot of whoops around here. So
yeah,
it felt pretty good. The cobbly sections, it really gobbles that stuff up, and it still cornered great.
It cornered really well.
Didn't have a lot of body roll.
Yeah.
Very, very predictable, very manageable.
Yeah.
So this one has a 440 stroked LS7 and it's making about 700 horsepower, and that was fun.
That's spicy.
That was fun.
Some of the straight stretch back there, little, I don't know what to call it, quad trail, like a wide quad trail. We're hitting, 90-ish?
Yeah. And then we hit over 100 at one point on the
out on the
gravel roads,
graded gravel road.
Yeah.
There's that nice straight stretch. We hit 118 or 16 or something.
Yeah, that's fucking fast.
Gotta let it eat.
Let her eat.
So that's a 4400 car with the full shock package on it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the latest and greatest.
And he'll be racing it this year.
Yeah, Craig's coming out for his first Hammers race, and he's teamed up with my brother. And I think not everything's set in stone yet, but Mike might run lap 1 with Craig co-driving, and then Craig wants to get in the driver's seat in the rocks.
Okay.
If he hasn't been shaken up too bad in the desert.
What's his race experience?
He was telling me about some, I'm going to screw this all up, some kind of a dirt track truck, something or other that he'd raced.
Okay.
It sounded closed course. It wasn't short course, but some type of closed course, something or other. Maybe it wasn't a truck. Maybe it was a dirt modified or something. He said one of his buddies back there had a car and said, "Here you go racing." So
yeah,
he does have a little bit of experience.
Okay.
But he's got a fleet of Jeeps and off-road toys and side by sides and stuff. So he's played in the dirt and the rocks, but he's never raced.
Yeah, because that's a whole different animal. I mean, it's violent. It's violent.
It's a 14-hour car crash.
Oh, it is. But I mean, even as well built as a Bomber is, and the suspension and everything, right? And it handles great. But I mean, it's just it's loud. It's violent. You're getting moved around. You cannot have motion sickness and sit in that car.
Yeah. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just proud I didn't hurl in the helmet or shit my pants. I was I did all right, but we were out there for 45 minutes. I timed it.
But did you die?
But did you die? Exactly. No, it didn't. But you were like, you want to go for another lap? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
It's happening.
Sounds like I'm
now
disqualified
driving.
already.
I would like to try driving, but I passenger. I'm not a good passenger. I'm not a good passenger at 2, 4, 5 miles an hour on the Rubicon or anything. I want to drive.
Did you ever get a ride in Gold Digger?
I did.
Okay.
So I rode with Randy a couple years ago at Sand Hollow. We went out on Sandthrax, yeah, and then James was the only drag axle, and there was one nasty obstacle, and we took a couple stabs at it and made it, and then James, he took like 7, 8, 9, 10, and then finally made it. I mean, it was impressive, but we were like shielding, waiting for an axle to grenade and shit, right?
I was
remember that?
I was moving back. I was waiting for axle shaft shrapnel.
So much bind going on, and I saw Randy like move back, and we're just all like, "Holy shit!" And oh fuck, what's his name from Wreck Gear? I'm drawing a blank right now. Bronson, thank you, Bronson and Jess. Bronson was there, and he was even moving back and shielding. And I go, "Yeah, we all had mechanical sympathy, but he pulled it off. He made it happen."
James didn't.
Well, he made it through that obstacle.
No, he didn't have any.
Oh, he didn't have mechanical sympathy. Well, yeah, right.
Wear your safety glasses, kids.
He's just like, if I stand on this skinny pedal, the loud pedal, just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get there.
He made it happen though.
Just get the tires a little hotter.
Yeah, no, that was cool because again, I'm always driving, and then to get to go in a 4-steer rig and watch you pick lines, that was cool. So
those cars, the maneuverability is just so fun.
Stupid.
Just being able to, you never have to back up. You just wiggle the rear end around and slide it into the line you're looking for, and away you go.
Right.
Or where's my friends? And just whip a U-turn in the middle of the trail and head back.
Exactly. Numerous times you'd be out ahead, then you'd turn around and be head on to us. Like, okay, let's go. You guys good? We're good. So, all right. So, I don't know, what strategies for the race this year? And I mean, you know that desert inside and out. I mean, it's just another day in the car and racing, or is there some magic formula or something that you're thinking of this year, or something different, or letting a PSI of air pressure out of the tires? I mean,
I worry before the race about getting the car ready and making sure that we show up prepared with all the things. I don't worry about what the track is. Dave teases us year after year after year. We're coming up Tuesday for the live show, the pre-party, whatever he calls it.
Yeah.
And he always teases us with, this is going to be the hardest one ever. And 9 times out of 10, I'm disappointed. 21 brought the heat.
Okay.
And I was able to pull it off that year. But going down dead blow on a 4400 car that's exciting. And those big IFS cars, those guys were shitting their pants. I guarantee it. And that's the kind of track that I like. If it's not over the top challenging in the rocks, I get bored.
Right. It's got to, get your attention. So that's interesting. Yeah. 21. I mean, it's so this live show coming up here, which will be after this, it'll be a week after this episode airs, but
that's right.
We're recording right before it. So who knows what's going to be revealed, but, I mean,
well, I mean, nuggets have already been released in that whatever Instagram post or whatever it was. I mean, as I alluded to or mentioned earlier in this show about the pit situation. I mean, obviously that's going to play a big part in strategy and range of the car, fuel capacity, and of course, the ability to flat tires, all those different things that come up during the race. And if you don't have that second pit how are you going to manage that? I guess is the
225
challenge.
miles, I guess, is what they're.
That's a 4,400 race, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know
Which, if that's true, that's the longest or one of the longest ever.
I think it'd be the longest. Because last year was what, like right around 200, I think.
sounds
Just-
right.
Some years
under?
they tell us it's 220 and it's 180.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're just like, whatever.
You never really know until you're like at the finish line.
Right. Right. That's
Well,
it.
set your trip odometer, reset it before before you start.
I do.
So, like, you go to the. Okay, so you got the pre-show, which some nuggets are released, but it sounds like you really don't even pay much attention. It's like, well, okay, whatever. But like during the meeting of all the racers, when Dave's up there talking about courses, people are asking questions. The VCPs, I guess, is that? I mean, it's on your GPS, but you don't have a GPS in front of you that you can see, so you're relying
I
on
can
your.
kind of see it out of across in front of Dustin, but no, I can't. I try to let him manage that and do
Right.
my own thing.
But with your experience and knowing that desert like the back of your hand, I mean, I got to imagine the conversation is like, okay, we're going XYZ down this trail, up this, we're making a turn here. Maybe there's a couple key points that you clue into, but I don't know. I just got to imagine that you're just kind of like, just point me in the right direction. Tell me where the VCPs are, and I'm going to hit those, and I'm going to fucking send it.
Yeah, Dustin and I go out and we'll see the majority of the course every year before the race. We'll do lap one once or twice, maybe 3 times. Make sure we know where we're going out there and try to kind of figure out some smooth lines and stuff. And then when we get into the rocks are the rocks of the rocks. Like it's mostly the same old trails we've been running for years. So we don't need to pre-run them so much as figure out what the connectors are.
Okay.
I got to go up Wrecking Ball, and then we're not going to go down Claw. We're going to go over here to Full of Hate and drop into Full of Hate and then hit Claw. And, we just have to know where the course goes. And then, Dustin's main job while we're driving around is, when we're going fast, he's calling corners. And, there's sometimes we come up over blind rises and he's saying, kind of like rally, you hear him talking about the rise and
Yeah.
the sharpness of the corner and whatnot.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
So
it's the finer details that.
a lot of it as it's coming, I can see what's going on and I've been there and done that. And I know, but he's still like, informing me of what's there and like reaffirming what I'm seeing, so.
Yeah. Well, you guys have had, this isn't your first rodeo, so you've got enough experience with each other. So he knows what information to give you, how to process that. And
Yeah, I can't remember now if Dustin's been in the car with me since 16 or 17.
okay.
17 for sure he was in the car, but Mike, I wanted 15. I don't remember if I think I talked Mike into coming back for 15 and we raced 4,800 as well. And then Dustin took over in 17.
Okay.
So Dustin's been 17, 18, 19, 20, however many years that is. More years than Mike now, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than I keep dragging Mike back into it with, I'm racing 48 again.
But no 48 this year.
So this year, Mike is running with Craig in the new 4,400 car.
Okay.
Already touched on that a little bit, but along with that deal, Mike's car is going to be wrapped or logoed up Pillow Motors as well. And he's going to race his Maverick R. He's got a fully raced out. He bought this car from Cam Steele.
Oh,
that was a
okay.
Baja
Nice.
champ. car.
I think it won the Baja 500, right?
Wow.
In its class.
I don't remember if it won or if it was on the podium, but
Yeah, it did really well.
Mike bought this car from Cameron, and he's going to race the Desert Challenge.
Right on. So that's going to be the weekend before Trophy Truck weekend.
Trophy Truck weekend.
Yeah, our first weekend that we're
So
there.
that'll be his. Definitely, my brother's the racer in the family. He's
You
raced
keep saying that.
way more miles than I ever have. But this will be his first Desert Challenge driver or co-driver. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
He's raced King of the Motos, and he's he's raced a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of pre-run with Cam Steele in Mexico, and he's raced dirt bikes all over the world. And
We went up to support him at the Big Sky 200
Yep.
in Montana in June. He helped him with that one. It was fun.
Helped him get that broken axle out.
Yeah. It was a 12-hour UTV race, so we had time.
Jesus. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's he's a certified badass too.
he's a savage.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's a two-wheel junkie.
He really gets the racing. I'm drawing a blank on the word, the strategies and the, every second counts. And he's super into the racing science, racing craft.
Where you're just fast.
I just like to go fast.
You just like to go fast.
Smash big rocks.
Just wants to race, man. Go fast.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. What else? So shock tuning. So talk about shock tuning, because you've been down there a lot. It seems like, from an outsider point of view, you build this car, set it up, get your shocks, you go tune it, and it's good to go. But that's not the case. You keep getting to that finite detail. So what, and with all your years of experience, what's, you go out there and tweak, and you've got, King, arguably one of the best shocks out there, and they know what they're doing. You know what you're doing. You're giving them solid input of what the car's doing or not doing. So what is that process like when you go out and do shock tuning? Because that's always been like a fucking fagizzy to me. It's like, shocks either work or don't work, but I get it when you're at that racing level, at the level that you're at. It's like you're trying to just get the gnat's ass. But what does that conversation happen on the lake bed? And how many times are you like tweaking shit?
Oh, it's a love-hate thing. You get it good one place and you're like kissing and hugging and high-fiving and thinking it's so great, and then you take it somewhere else and can't stand it. So it's so important to get a tune that's a well-rounded, works everywhere. You got to focus on what's the most important thing, which to me, the most important thing is we can go fast in the rocks.
Okay.
But it can't be a mess in the desert.
Right.
So you got to balance the two. And then it's not just a matter of the desert and the rocks. There's 5 different types of desert that we run through, between whoops and sand washes and fast, smooth 2-track and lake beds, and then across the top of Fissure Mountain, it's more like you want kind of a rally car. You need a tighter car that handles good off camber and through the corners. And, some of the stuff on Fissure, for instance, is craggy, rocky, rough. And you almost need a loose car to dance across that stuff. But the corner before, you needed the tight car. So it's frustrating sometimes trying to get the best of all the worlds.
Right. You're trying to find that happy medium.
And a lot of times, we don't really even know until the start of the race. I remember in years past, Mike going, "Holy crap, buddy, this car is fast. Like, it's so good." Or other years are just complaining and
Really?
bouncing off of stuff and hurting ourselves. And
Well, you complained to him in 21, and that's when you won last. So
the conversation Friday night, my brother called me. He wasn't on the lake bed that year. And he goes, wanted to call and, tell you good luck.
Yeah.
And see how you're feeling about it. And I said, bro, I hate my shock tune. I'm so unhappy with it.
The night before the race.
The night before the race. And then I said, you know what? It might be exactly what I need to keep me in check. I can't, it doesn't make me comfortable. It's not confidence inspiring. I can't drive it as fast as I want to, but turns out that's
what you needed.
exactly what I needed, was a car that didn't just tell me, flog me. So
Flog me. Oh man. So what about live valve? What's your take on live valve, where you quote unquote could get the best of all worlds, where you can set it up so it's soft and when you need it and firm when you do? And
I'd like to think one of these days before I retire, I'll get to play with that. In the golf carts that I've played with, it hasn't made as much of a difference as I hoped it would. But yeah, you can have a panic button for a G out, something sneaks up on you and looks like it's going to hurt. So you push that panic button, or you can have multiple different tunes on a switch. There's also, like, the live valve in the Can-Ams, senses what the car is doing and adjusts, multiple times per second, supposedly, to, if the car is, rolling and a bike up, it can tighten up the the wheels, the shocks on the wheel that's going to lift off the ground to keep that side of the car down, or lots of different things that it's reading a lot faster than what you or I could.
Yeah. Microprocessor just freaking every millisecond figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure, I mean, when you're traveling at, 75 miles an hour over desert terrain, it's got to be, reacting super fast. So it's going to be, instead of multiple times per second, it's probably like 100 times a second or whatever the response time is to react. I mean, it's exciting technology for sure. And I don't know, has a car with the live valve technology, is it podiumed or won KOH yet, or any of the major races?
That's a good question, Chris.
I'm going to go with no, because
I don't think so.
Since I won in 21, it's been Gomez's.
Yep.
And Gomez's are King Shocks as well. Mm-hmm. And King Shocks hasn't, they have the technology. They've been playing with it, but I don't believe it's made it on any of the race cars at Hammers yet.
Right. Just Fox. So Amber, what's your shock tuning experience? Because you're kind of new to this. I mean, you can only do so much with a Samurai on leaf springs. So what did
So you want to talk about the first time I went shock tuning with
so
the Samurai?
Let's talk about the first time tuning and from Samurai to like tuning with the Bomber.
Okay, so
you didn't lose your steering wheel, did you?
No, that was on my way to Rubicon. The first time I went shock tuning with King and the Samurai was 23.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had just put the new shocks on and we brought them out, and Randy was nice enough to, hook me up with the King Shock guy at Rebay. Did a couple passes and he brought the shocks back and revalved them. And then I got back in the car and I drove it, and it was like night and day.
Noticeable difference.
Yeah. Like, for the people that are either naysayers or have never had their shocks tuned, like, you can pick up 10, 20 plus miles an hour on a good shock tune from a crap shock tune. But so, like, that year in the Samurai, I was driving around with my foot completely to the floor, like, just
giving it all the beans,
everything it had. And then like 24, I felt like I just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I changed the wheels a little bit and changed some of the weights, and it just wasn't the same. And I wish I would have spent more time shock tuning in 24. I would have been a lot faster. But yeah, shock tuning with the 48 car is a little bit different because, with the Samurai, you can the only spring rates are in the leaf springs. And so I didn't have different leaf springs to deal with. I can't, I'm not going to change those out. So the only adjustment we really made was revalving the shocks and then playing with the clickers. But the 48 car, it's like not super exponentially more stuff you can change, but like they have the valving down for those things where like this is the happy medium where we want the valving, and now you just play with the spring rates or you play with the clickers or this and that. So yeah, I'm still getting there with the 48 car. Like it's not super fast yet, but I really want to get it super fast for the race.
So you say that. So, I mean, what kind of, I just kind of want to know the conversations that are happening. Like they do something to the car, whether they change a spring or they clicker or, they
and the adjusters on the springs too.
Yeah. And then the adjusters on the springs, and you go out and do a lap per se, wherever you're doing whoops, Brock's, whatever. And you come back. What's that conversation like with Uribe and Brett and all the guys at King?
Yeah. So the last couple times we've been tuning with a kid named Fabian, and it's basically like, for example, the back end is bucking.
Okay.
It's going back and forth every time it hits a whoop, or or we're bottoming out. That's another thing that you can fix with a shock tune. Let's see. And with adjusting the coilovers, you can adjust like how high the nose is or how low the rear end is, and how, that controls how the car handles as well. Ride height. So that's all like conversation items within shock tuning and stuff that you adjust and look for. And
right. And that was one of the things that was interesting to me. And like one of the designs with the new Bomber is getting that spare tire lower and back a little bit, right? Like that helped the suspension. Was it back more?
It's in this. It's kind of the same orientation,
position, but
laid down.
Just laid down.
Yeah, and then we also moved the shock mounts up an inch.
Okay, that's right. The shock mounts did move up, but it's interesting to me because talking. I mean, like again, this is like Fugazi land for the layman off-roader, but balancing the car or having that spare tire, just that
the weight off the rear end makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that 80 pounds or whatever moved a little bit forward or a little bit back makes a lot of difference on how that car handles. And then whoops is a whole nother thing, right? And how the car approaches it, how it's set up, and then you watch those fucking trophy trucks go over whoops like they're nothing. It's just incredible, but they're not going through rocks either at King of the Hammers.
Yeah, or you watch those other, I'm not sure, they're not 10 cars, but those other desert cars that are like full, maybe truggies, I guess, with the full fiberglass bodies. And if you actually look at them, it's like they've got the cab and then the fuel cell and then the spare tire like a mile behind
way
the cab.
Back there. Yeah.
So it's in vehicle setup and shock tuning.
Right. So, I mean, that's got to be cool from your aspect, from building cars and stuff now, and now getting to drive them and learning how just little things change.
Yeah, the whole process of Randy teaching me when I did my shackle reversal on my Samurai was
right.
Like, it's like here's the Bible,
right?
Here's the book of knowledge,
right?
So that was super cool.
It was like a live pirate forum there, right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's Pirate 4x4.
Yeah, Pirate 4x4 101 right in front of you.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's it. It's the experience, and that's what obviously Randy brings to the table is just years of wheeling, wreck wheeling, racing, all this shit, building, fabricating. That's cool that you can tap into that.
Yeah.
I know. I enjoyed that when went out with a ride with him, and he stopped like towards the end of our ride, and he was talking about what he was seeing and thinking and the trail, and I was like, oh, this is cool shit. If I was a racer, it would have been freaking awesome, but I don't go over 50 miles an hour.
And that's a whole nother like layer to this thing. Like I've been learning how to ride dirt bikes with Randy for the last year, and like there's so much that like he basically, I want to say he built the bomber to ride like a dirt bike.
Right.
Like he wants to treat his race cars like dirt bikes.
You know, that's a good analogy because we got to go out on a ride. You were there. Tom Rosa was there in his trail bike or whatever. What was that thing?
It's like a 450, right?
Yeah, it's something. But that was a fun day because that not only did we do some killer single track that I didn't even know existed out in this desert, because there is some. I've been on the lookout, and I have a lot of GPS single track trails now. Entrances to these because they're super hard to find, right?
Hey, don't go blowing up our trails.
No. I don't publish them. But I'm like, as I'm going out on the golf cart, the side by side, and I'm looking for single track because I love single track. It's just it's super technical. It's fun. It's low speed. So I'm not one to just go out and rail on the fire roads, but it's cool. So when we went out on that ride, I mean, we got to see some cool stuff.
Yeah. I haven't taken you up our rock crawling trail yet.
No, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, rock crawling on a dirt bike. That's my favorite.
You're going to get into trials bikes. That's the shit. You bounce off of rocks and stuff.
God, dude, those guys are so insane.
Isn't that insane? You watch
that stuff? Yeah.
What were we watching last night? That
the
Red
Stark
Bull?
Varg. It was like some race in Europe, and this dude on a Stark Varg is just smashing this race, just annihilating it.
It's a 100% electric dirt bike.
Correct.
And it's like the equivalent of 80 horsepower.
Yeah, 80 horsepower in this new Enduro version that they have.
And they were doing this ridiculous race in Europe that, I mean, just every obstacle they're throwing at them. You know, there's telephone poles at every different angle. There was oil barrels that they had to like negotiate around. Of course, some crazy terrain, hill climbs and single track and stuff that they had to negotiate. They were in this one little rock fucking sluice that was insane.
That's a good word for it. It was a sluice, and it was one rider wide.
Sluice, one rider wide.
And when we were watching it, I said it's this race's equivalent of backdoor.
Yeah, it was. It was, and but to see, here's a guy on this electric freaking bike just putting on a fucking clinic.
Oh gosh!
And passing, we're sitting there, and then Randy goes, "Okay, watch lap 2." You were like, "Oh yeah, this is where the excitement starts," and it was just like, "Holy shit!"
It was rude.
And it was like yard sale. All these guys were yard sailing on their bikes, and then
nice,
freaking. This guy's just do on this little electric motorcycle.
He's like yelling at people to get out of the way because it doesn't make any noise.
Because it doesn't make any noise. You can't like give the blip of the throttle that's like, "Hey, asshole, I'm right on your tire.
Hey, get out of my way."
Yeah, get out of my way.
It's got that stupid Tesla sound and you hear all the electric cars in the parking lots. But I mean, it's instantaneous torque on those things too, I imagine. Just
it's electric. So it's like all your torque's right out of the gate.
Absolutely.
The torque.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
We're talking about your new dirt bike.
Well, I don't have it yet, but
it's pretty cool.
March,
yeah.
But we were talking about
March.
How many cool single track trails there are right in our backyard here.
Man, we get so spoiled.
Oh man,
so spoiled.
I take it for granted, and we leave and go other places. And as we're getting back into this valley, I'm just like, yeah, we're home.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Well, it's like today. I was working on this stupid golf cart and put 35s on it and greased some shit up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take it out on the. I mean, I just drove right out my driveway. Shoot, was in rocks, dirt, sand, everything. Got to get it up to temperature, run it a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, it's ready to go for hammers. We're gonna. I'm actually really excited to take this thing out because it's different. The buggy. I mean, I've had it out there for the last 6 years. It's great. I love it. I was looking at it today in the garage, going, "Fuck, this is gonna be weird not taking the buggy to the desert," but We're gonna bobsled the fucking golf cart there and see what happens.
Jamaican bobsled
The
team.
Jamaican bobsled team. I should fly
Nice.
a Jamaican flag on this thing because you have to drive it differently. I got into some rocks and you just I'm learning with this thing, but you just got to kind of fucking glide over shit.
Not as much finesse as a rock crawler. Huh?
No, I'm gonna spray some Pam on the bottom of the skid plate and just send it.
Just do yourself a favor and stay out of the rocks.
Stay out of the rocks.
Yeah, stay out of the rocks.
Oh, come on.
Just go smash whoops and go fast. That's what they're good at.
Yeah.
Smash weeds. Tumbleweeds. Jason
Smash
knows about
whoops
tumbleweeds.
and go fast.
Chris is going to be my co-pilot. I may even let Chris drive,
I might drive
So-
it.
so
Get
he'll
that-
get
Get
one.
that thing in the rocks. You're just going to start popping CVs and
I know.
it gets all ugly. It gets
Spoken-
expensive real fast.
It gets expensive. It does.
That's rock crawling for you.
Yeah.
Spoken
welcome to
by a
rock
master.
crawling.
Words from
Hundreds of
Randy
dollars worth of
Slawson.
plastics off the side of it.
The plastics, all the plastics.
Perfect.
Okay, so, what else? KOH. What do you
So-
guys got to say? You got anything else that?
Well, I wanted to ask if
Yeah.
is Amber are you gonna be running just the 4800, or are you gonna change tires and do the 4400 on Saturday too?
Oh
Like
no,
you did
just the
last-
4800.
Just 48.
Yeah.
Just 48.
I would race the 44 if you let me. But that was honestly a real challenge last year racing back to back. I think I got out of my Samurai that night, had a piece of pizza and a White Claw, and then went to bed and woke up and raced the next day. That was
All right.
No, it's that's always been that's been one of our questions is like you're in that freaking car for 6-8 hours, whatever it is, and yeah, nature calls, and yeah, pee's one thing, but you got to drop a deuce. That's a whole other deal.
You heard it here on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
You
How
heard it
about
here
that
first.
bourbon?
That's why I always ask, like, what's your diet, the night before? And then some people are just like, oh, no, I have fucking burrito with jalapenos. I give no shits. And then,
oh boy.
Take an Imodium or two. you're
yeah,
set.
yeah. And then there's other people that are carb loading with pasta and stuff. And
Want some beans, Taggart?
right, I think you've had enough. But yeah, I mean, it's real world shit that you got to talk about, literally. But you brought that up. What's going?
While you're racing, you got to put everything else to the side.
That's right. That's right. You got to focus. Keep your eye on the prize.
Every second counts.
It does. It does. Well, I think one of the greatest stories with this context going now is when newbies are in the pits and they're like super anxious to like help out and all that shit, and a lot of people can't pee when they're driving at 80 miles an hour. So they get to the pits and they're like, okay, we're stopped and I'm going to pee. And then they're like, oh shit, you're leaking radiator fluid or something. No, that's not radiator fluid.
Don't climb under the car.
Don't get under the car.
One of the guys goes to taste it, or touch it with their finger
What
and
is it?
smell it.
It's not gear oil. It's not antifreeze.
Last night we were watching YouTube, and Light Bright is the next suggestion, and it turns out it's their Bomber Hammers race.
Okay.
22.
A couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 years ago now.
So if you go and watch that one, it's kind of funny. Brittany's got a chick catheter going.
Yeah.
And hers works fine, but Kevin's does not.
Does not.
He
It
has-
fails.
He has a failure real early on. And then a little later, they're in the pits, and Brittany just lets rip. And meanwhile, the pit crew's underneath the car changing out the rear drive line that he smashed up.
God.
And they're like, hey, Brittany. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's
Whizzing away.
whizzing away on him.
Jeez. I mean,
Real life.
these are the things that happen that people don't realize watching on the live stream. This is racing 101 right here. Behind the
Hey,
scenes.
Nature happens, man.
Well, yeah, but it's just and you're trying to stay hydrated. That's the thing. Do you guys carry any like camelbacks or anything in your car, or how do you What do you do for water and stuff?
For years, we carried a Camelback, or one for each, and I never used it.
Really?
Never ever.
You never got.
You can't. It's
kind of hard to
very
reach.
difficult to find the hose and get it up under your dust skirt. So what we've been doing is every time we pit, I'll drink 2 16-ounces. They'll pass me one of those in with a straw in it, and I'll suck it dry and throw it out, and they'll pass me another one.
Okay.
So I'll get 32 plus ounces in the pit every time I pit.
So that could be interesting this year with only 2 pits.
No, it really doesn't change. Chris was talking about that earlier, and I was thinking about it, and it really doesn't change our strategy much at all. Historically, we pit in Maine.
Okay.
We pit at the end of lap
That's
1
your
in
main
Maine, and we
Right.
pit at the end of lap 2 in Maine.
Okay.
If we go to remote pit, I've almost never gone to remote 1. But if we go to remote 2A and B, it's because we need fluid or we need a tire or something. It's not a planned pit.
Okay,
We're not stopping there for gas. Although this year could be a different scenario with that, because lap 1 is only 65 miles or something like that. Dave's got something different. From what I can gather, Dave's got something different in store for us, because lap 1 is not going to be our typical head out to the northwest, out towards Bessemer Mine and Camp Rock. I don't think we're going to be, if I understand correctly, we're not going to be on Marine Base at all.
Oh, wow.
He hasn't pulled permits or done anything with the Marine Base.
Interesting. Okay.
So we're only going to be in Johnson Valley OHV proper. So I think that's why lap 1 is so short.
Okay.
And then I think the way he's got it set up, the remote pit, whatever he's calling it, we're going to hit that every lap.
Okay.
Maybe multiple times each lap, even.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. And then the third lap's supposed to be the crazy rock lap, whatever that is, which plays into your cards.
The harder the better.
Exactly, right?
Yep.
Up dead blow.
Harder the better.
I love it.
If I'm crying and winching, everybody else is going to be broken and out. So bring it on.
Oh, that's so good.
Love
The
it.
scales. Oh, that's good. So who, if there's anybody that you like kind of watch that is in your radar, so to speak, that a team or teams that you're like, they're kind of chasing, like they're in the hunt. Like, is there anybody that, I don't want to say intimidates, but like this is on your radar?
Well, for years it's been Jason Shear, and then obviously the Gomez's have got 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So a couple of Northern California teams to watch out for.
Right. So, but other than that, that's
No, everybody else is.
What did you say? You did a video interview in 20 or 22 after you raced, and you said something along the lines of like, when you get out there and you see something that kind of intimidates you, you know that it really scares the shit out of everybody else.
Yeah,
right?
I remember that.
Yeah, I'll talk to my brother about it usually, and that's basically what he told me. He said, "Man, if you're intimidated, imagine the way these other guys are feeling."
Right.
That's like last year when Dave made stock class go down King's Veto and everybody was bitching about it. And then in the driver's meeting, he's like, well, Amber did it in her Samurai.
Exactly. How great is that?
That's my
Like,
favorite.
hey, over here.
With a 79-inch wheelbase.
Yeah.
83.
Making it happen. I mean, that's it. That's what's cool is it's all about, I guess, perspective and stuff and experience, and been there, done that. You're like, okay, this is nothing. But if something gets your attention, then yeah, that's saying something.
In the good old days, King of the Hammers in '07 was 34 miles or something like that. And then the next year it was 50 miles. And the next year it was 75 miles. And the next year it was 110 miles. Or I'm making up numbers at this point. But it got into the 200s. And Dave's just giggling and doubling down. I told him, man, if you keep this up, nobody's going to show up at some point. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And then we started seeing races go from low 200s back to 165, 185, whatever. So this year being 225 supposedly is going to be, to my knowledge, potentially the hardest or longest mileage race ever. There might have been one other year that competed with this one for total miles, but he wants to be able to say he's got the hardest one-day race. And the last few years, this race has been being won in the 6 hours or something like that. And the golf cart finished first across the line. So he's being forced to step it up, or, we're starting to look silly.
So I'm glad you brought that up. But before I get into the golf cart thing, it's a delicate balance, right? Because now this thing's grown into just, racing for a 12-pack of beer or 6-pack, whatever it was back in the day, to its major, commercial media, all this stuff's involved now. So it's like, you can't have the clusterfuck at Turkey Claw, because that's not good viewing for the viewers out there where everybody's getting wadded up.
Right.
But you gotta have some racing in there, competition, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, how do we get this race harder, but still spectator friendly, where it's not creating a traffic jam, where people are just sitting there and it's a European winch fest.
Turkey Claw.
Yeah.
It's 5 miles in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess last year with.
Yeah.
We're starting lap 2 and there's still 20 or 30 cars left in Turkey Claw.
Up.
Someone asked me recently what my least favorite trail was, and I was like, Turkey Claw for that reason. Traffic is not fun.
Yeah. So obviously that's all playing into how he sets up a course.
The strategy's definitely changed.
Yeah.
In the early days, I remember one year we came kind of across the top of the ridge behind Chocolate Thunder, heading north, and then looped around down into the to the foot of the hill and back to the south and into the bottom of Turkey Claw. Well, we got spectators streaming across the race course. I'm leading. I'm honking at them. They're flipping me off and looking at me like I'm an asshole. And they're in the race course.
They're standing on the race course.
They're just flooding across the race course because they heard the leaders were coming. They wanted to be to Chocolate Thunder to see the race.
I think my mom did bring that up as like a strategic point of setting up the race courses. They wanted to make lap 1 so that they didn't have to have as many bodies out there. So that's another thing.
The volunteer standpoint, because your mom's one of the. She's very
volunteer lead.
Yeah, she's like the mother of volunteers. So, it is. It's interesting, all that. So, the other thing that you brought up is the golf carts. In the 4,400 class, there's been so much, I don't want to say controversy, but conversations around that. And it's like, should they be able to compete? It's an unlimited class, so it's run what you brung is the impetus of this whole thing. But then there's a safety factor with somebody in a car like yours, or then you got the frickin' Hell's Bells that's just a fucking monster truck out there, and then compared to a golf cart, and they get tangled up. I mean, all this shit, all these scenarios, all this stuff plays into this thing. But it was pretty exciting last year with the finish, right? Like, I was driving home, trying to beat the snow, and I had this thing live streamed, and I was I was shitting kittens watching this thing because I'm like, is this fucking a golf cart going to win the 4,400? That's just not it. That shouldn't happen.
Inconceivable.
Right. It shouldn't happen, but here they are competing, and I know they're gunning for it. So what's your take? What's your thoughts on the golf carts in the 4,400 class, and now that you have one again, and how capable they are? What's your thoughts on all that?
I can't imagine running one in the rocks. Years ago, Dustin and I both had Polaris 1000s, and on Sunday after hammers, we hadn't had enough, so we headed back out to
Hadn't had enough.
abuse
Just
ourselves
raise the
some more.
fucking hammers. I haven't had enough.
So he's in his turbo razor, and I'm in my XP 1000 non-turbo unit, and we go smashing out to outer limits, and up outer limits we went. And by the time we got out the top, both of us had broken axles, and both of us ripped thousands of dollars worth of plastics off our units. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why did we have to do that? And Dustin was all about it. Let's go run outer limits. I'm like, heck no. Let's not. Let's go smash whoops and go fast and do fun things. Obviously these guys are armoring these things up.
Sure.
And, some of them are getting pretty serious about it. I don't think there's much stock Can-Am or much stock Polaris left, really. A motor and trans and some bits and pieces, but they're building full-blown chassis, and
Yeah.
some of these cars are worth as much or more than my 4,400 car. So they're getting pretty crazy with it.
Yeah. But it's like you come out, you out racing, and I mean, you nerf a Gomez or something, they got a stout car, right? But do you think twice about nerfing a fucking golf cart, or it's race day? I mean, this is coming from a guy that drove over a car during a race, so I don't know.
What happens when that guy is running in the dust and Gomez comes around the corner,
right?
Monster trucks him
Gets
like
smoked.
he did that other guy.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, broke that guy's car in half, crashed himself out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
when somebody, if somebody got hit like that in a golf cart instead of a real car,
right,
it will probably kill them.
Yeah. That's the scary thing. And that comes back to that, the whole safety aspect of this thing. It's like unlimited class. It's great. Figure shit out, whatever you bring to the course that day and you think you can win. I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about the unlimited class, but now it's gotten so big and so many, it's so competitive. It's like, gotta, implement some standards, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what.
I think
what makes sense.
Could be very easily done with weight.
A weight number.
Some of the Gomez cars, some of the big cars are 6,000 pounds.
Shit.
And that golf cart's 2,500 pounds or something.
And what's your bomber at race weight?
42-ish.
42. Okay, so
I'm on the real light end of the 4,400 scale.
Okay. Can you still pick up the tire?
Not the race cars.
I love that video. That's a great video. The trail bombers. Yeah. Chris, are you still there?
I am. I was just going to interject, and I know that we talked a little bit back about the length of the race and the duration of the race and how they're finishing. Dave, it's Randy mentioned that, the balance, trying to, he wants it to be the hardest 1 day race out there, off-road race. And, it's going to be a constant evolution of, technology, car builds and chassis dynamics and so forth. Better,
but also wrecking ball and outer limit spinners, all these trails keep getting easier and easier because we just keep beating them to death. All the high spots just keep rolling over into the low spots,
beating the trails down.
Well, that's the trade-off, right? I mean, because I think that up until however many years ago, I mean, I'm a newbie to going to Johnson Valley. I've only been going there since like 2014 or whatever it was. But it wasn't, that area, that terrain was kind of a local spot for the most part until KOH really started to put a spotlight on it and make it super popular. So now it's getting,
So there was the 10 vendor jamborees and the Toyota Foreigner jamborees and stuff kind of brought people from around the country a little bit, but like once a year, and 37s and low horsepower crawlers, all of a sudden King of the Hammers comes along, and now everything's, everybody's out there boulder dozing.
Yeah, he's got a pile of old KOH DVDs in his motorhome.
That was great.
And so we like to watch, we watched a bunch of them while we were down there for Christmas. And like a couple of the really old ones, like you look at the trails and they look virgin. Like
really,
there's still like grass growing in between the rocks, and like there's big rocks everywhere. And there's these rock crawlers just moving slowly through them. It's not, when you look at these trails these days, you can see the obvious race line.
Sure.
And that's just not there in these old videos.
Burned in. It's burned in.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make is it's basically used up or overused or whatever the term I'm trying to find is.
Beat down.
So, I mean, because a lot more people are using the place. I mean, it's a people problem. I mean, people are more than welcome to recreate and so forth, and hopefully they're taking care of the resource. But
even more than just the trails being beat down, the desert is just getting destroyed. There's so many people on quads and side by sides, and there's so many people. Now the Brenthel guys have a place by Cody's, and they're bringing trophy trucks out, and they're bringing, a lot of the guys used to go to Barstow, or they used to go to Stoddard Wells, or they used to go to Camp Rock Road, or they used to go to Bessemer Mine. Now I'm seeing so many people coming out to Johnson Valley, to Means Dry Lake. The place is just seeing a ton of traffic.
Yeah.
Well, it's the world famous King of the Hammers venue now. I mean, it's
Hammers has definitely put the place on the map.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know, wheeling. You remember, Chris? We go out on Sunday and Monday after the race, and how deep the trenches were.
Oh yeah,
on the race course, and it's like I've got 43s. And I'm still dragging my fucking skid plate over the center. It's like, fuck, the lines that get burned in. But then the desert does the wind, the W comes up and
desert gets a nice reset.
It gets a reset. So with sand and stuff, but obviously rocks on the rock trails, I mean, they get moved around from driving over them. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, obviously, as this place has grown super popular and King of the Hammers brought all this traffic there, but if it just the King of the Hammers didn't happen for a couple of years, things would be drastically different. It would change, right? Like it just evolves. Just nature kind of takes itself back. But
absolutely,
it's fun. It's fun to see, and there's so many great rock crawling trails out there in Johnson Valley, and arguably some of the hardest in California. I mean, Fordyce, obviously very tough in the Sierras, but a lot of those trails, the Rubicon, looks like a fucking wagon trail compared to a lot of the shit at Johnson Valley.
It's just long.
It's just long, yeah.
That's the biggest
right?
difference.
I mean, that's the thing at Johnson Valley. You could go do 2, 3, 4 trails, wreck wheeling, not at race pace, but wreck wheeling in a day if you're set up and
Medusa.
Yeah, fucking Medusa. And, yeah, Medusa and what was the other one? We went up Bigfoot and down Medusa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go check that out again this year in the golf cart. How about that, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
I dare you.
I'd feel better in the golf cart. I don't know. It's got a shittier cage, though. Maybe not. I don't know. That was pretty wicked. But
yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
I'm going to pass. Take a pass. All right. What else? We've gone down a lot of avenues. sponsors. Let's talk about sponsors. You guys have been stepping up the sponsor game. You alluded to a few earlier here. Pella Motors, obviously, that has stepped up last year, and they're back this year.
He's back. Yep. Craig said that he was excited about what we did last year and wanted to be involved again. So he's back.
That's cool.
I picked up a new one this year. Lance Fair. I built him a really nice rear steer car.
Gold Digger 2
in red and purple.
Yes.
When they told me they wanted to do red and purple, I was like, ugh. But it really looks good. Like
it does look good.
It's super flashy.
Yeah.
So Lance owns a company called Horizon Underground Inc.
Okay.
And he actually used to work for Kevin that owns the 40.
Oh.
So
yeah, because they do underground work.
Yeah. So Kevin was one of his early bosses, and then Lance split off and started Horizon, and he's been building it up over the years, and got a pretty good thing going down there in Southern Cal in Norco.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually like over the fence behind Cody's shop, I guess, like right there by Laser Nut.
Okay.
So he's doing a lot of trenching and drilling and concrete work and all kinds of construction stuff down there.
Right on. And King.
And King.
And King.
And BFG.
And BFG. Yep.
Bulldog Witches.
Bulldog
is your number one. That was your first sponsor, right?
My first sponsor ever. Yep.
And they're still with you to this day.
Yep. I'm one of those guys that as long as the partnership keeps being mutually
beneficial,
is if it's not keeping me from winning races and I'm able to help you and you're able to help me, then I keep doing it.
Yeah. Loyalty.
And then on the 48 car, Freight Factory's back as the title sponsor this year, and they deal with like shipping and logistics and race logistics specifically too. You can hit up their website and see all the stuff that they do. It's pretty cool.
Josh is racing again this year?
Yes, Josh is racing both cars again this year.
Okay.
And a golf cart.
And a golf cart?
Yes.
He's doing 3 races?
Yes. I'm not sure if it's for the Desert Challenge or if he's doing the actual UTV race, but
he's doing the Desert Challenge in his big 2-liter Polaris.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. And then he's
set up. I don't remember which company had built it, but it's like a full-blown race car.
Really? And he had a little opening he put on a show on his first turn at KOH.
Yeah.
Not to throw him under the bus, but he handled it very well.
Yes.
Got
made
his,
for a good shot.
He got his first race jitters out of the way, I guess you could say.
5 minutes in the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all been there.
That's brutal though. I felt so bad for him, and this first turn right off the line, and then he's on his side.
Whoops.
He wasn't the only one that day.
He wasn't the only one. He was one of 3, I believe.
Oh gosh.
But
it's exciting.
Sometimes the nerves are overwhelming.
I gotta imagine. I mean,
I'm
nervous. I'm nervous standing on that start line, just watching everybody. You know, it's just it's adrenaline flowing, and it's just fucking crazy. But sitting in the driver's seat, going, "Holy shit, here we go! We're at the King of the Hammers." Especially if it's your first time. But you probably just like, yeah, that's another day of wheeling.
That's actually something that I've been like working on constantly is I think Mike gave me the advice of like, you have to just breathe and keep your heart rate down specifically while you're racing so you can stay focused and even. And so like I'll mentally either prepare for my adrenaline to spike and like that whole, your heart races and all that stuff. And then I'll just like breathe and bring it down and like remain calm. And I've just been like, basically doing that every day, every time something happens, so that during the race, I'm breathing and keeping calm and staying cool. So
do you feel extra pressure with the bomber than you did with the, because like Samurai, I mean, there's low expectations, right?
Well,
Like,
yeah, the
it's like,
Samurai I just wanted to finish, and now I'm racing a car that won last year.
yeah. So the car works. Now it's up to the wheel person there to make the pedal pusher, the chief pedal pusher.
The expectations are much higher.
Right.
But
So,
it's okay.
but that's extra pressure on you.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? Breathe.
Breathe. Get as many miles in as I can.
Yeah.
I can only do what I can do, and I've been doing it.
Well,
So.
that's it. And I knowing you as long as I have, you're one to just like, I gotta imagine this is the conversation that's going on in your head. Like, okay, I've done this before. Yes, I'm in a different car, but let's just fucking send it. Let's make this thing happen. I mean, there's got to be. You're not new to the game, but yes, you're in a new, like, quote unquote, the state of the art race car compared to the underdog position that you were in before.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
I had the experience of racing the 44 race last year and having Mike ride with me and all the advice that I got from him.
Right.
Because going from the Samurai, it is a completely different game.
Yeah.
Before I didn't really pay attention to VCPs.
Right.
And now the name of the game is VCPs.
Right.
So it's way more homework and just getting to know the course.
Yeah.
And just crossing your T's and dotting your I's and playing it by the rules.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So, do you still get nervous, Randy, rolling up to the start line? What's your head space like when you're rolling up to that start line going? Because you're usually one of the first off the line, and you're at the beginning of that pack, but it's just electric that Saturday morning, and everybody's out there fired up. It's cold as fuck, and you're just like, you're ready to race. I know, but what's going through your head?
So I'm always thinking about what did we forget? What's it going to be this year? What silly 10-cent part's going to take us out of the running? And of course, none of that does any good because
right,
it is what it is. Man, one year, I hate the way they organize it with. They do the parade lap thing, move everybody up. Everybody's like scrambling. I know what time it is. I've got 20 minutes before I need to start the engine. Right?
Sure.
And then they're all scramble us. So then I'm putting my earbuds in and I'm getting my helmet on, and the course people are yelling at us to move up, and then we get moved up, and then we shut down, and now we've got 20 minutes. Like, come on,
shit.
Can't we just do this once and go, not twice? But that always adds a little extra layer of stress and crap that I wish we didn't have to deal with. But yep, it's you get nervous, you have to pee. You don't have to pee, but you got to pee. Just all the stuff.
So, but once that green flag drops and whoever you're next to, I gotta imagine once you get going, you're just like all that shit goes out the window and you're just going.
Yep, I always make sure that the first car we battle is the one we start next to, and I always want to get out in the desert before that guy. I don't think I've ever been beat yet in that drag race off the lake bed.
That's great.
The last thing you want to do is be eating somebody's dust right off the bat. But then it's amazing. Like we talked about it earlier a little bit. Turkey Claw was 5 miles or 3 miles or something from the start line. I'll pass 3 cars on the way to Turkey Claw. It's like, what are you guys doing? You beat me qualifying. Like, did you come to race or not? So, yeah, once the flag drops, it's just game on. We
right.
go to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, there's so many things that can happen out on a course, but
Well, that plus the I don't know what you would call it. I mean, the stupidity of the spectators and other people that are bopping around, and there's so many unknowns that are going on in that environment.
It's amazing year after year after year, and it used to be way worse. But every year, I'll run across a family of Mexicans on quads, or somebody in their side by side, just out there cruising on the racetrack. It's
no
like,
clue.
how did you get here, and how are you so stupid to not realize that there's a race going on right now, and you're,
It's usually that section behind Backdoor too.
Yeah.
Over Baldwin Hill.
Yeah. Usually over there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully for 2025, there's no major incidents and or fatalities. I mean, obviously it's a big unknown territory, and like I just mentioned, there's the level of stupidity and
so along those lines, right? Dave's requested that everybody is got a flag on this year.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Help, and I love that, and 90% of the people flying flags is the American flag out there. So I've always had a flag on my rig out there just because I want to fly the American flag, but.
Now you're gonna have a Jamaican flag.
I think I might do the Jamaican bobsled for the golf cart this year.
Perfect.
I might have to go onto Amazon and find a Jamaican flag to put on there. That'd be fucking hilarious. The Jamaican bobsled team.
Forever wave.
We'll see how this goes.
So many people get out there and get into the adult beverages and just turn off their brains and go crazy. And
It's the Wild West.
The shit show at Backdoor and the
Chocolate
stuff that goes on at Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah.
It's a real black eye on our sport. I wish those people could rein it in a little bit and act like adults.
Yeah. Well, so Bad Lines, Good Times is taking over Chocolate Thunder. Who's taking over Chocolate Thunder this year? Gambler's taking over.
Yeah. Gambler's supposed to be running Chocolate Thunder this year.
So...
And that is where the stage is going to be, and that's where all of the concerts are going to be.
Well, yeah. So this is good evolution, I think, because as you guys as racers, a concert going on in Hammertown is not a good thing for you.
The night before the race.
The night before the race.
O'clock.
I mean, it looked good on paper, and it's great as a spectator and a patron of the sport. It's freaking awesome, but. All these pits and everybody's listening to Sublime freaking crank it out at 10:30 at night is not a good thing before a race.
Not ideal.
So getting them up to Chocolate Thunder makes sense. I wonder how this is going to evolve, and I hope there's some, because there's a lot of people that go out there, want to go have a good time, but it's always those, people that overindulge and poor choices and banging off of their Toyota rev limiter,
holding your month-old baby.
Oh fuck! What
behind,
the fuck?
Like in Backdoor behind the crawler that's roosting rocks. Like,
that was
what is wrong with you?
Such a shit show, man.
How can you be so dumb?
Please use your brains.
Yeah, use your brain. Yeah. I mean, I stopped going to Backdoor on Thursday nights 3 years ago because it was like. I mean, I didn't fear for my life, but I'm like, this is just, I don't want to be part of this anymore. This is stupid.
Even if you're smart enough to be up and out of the way, why do you want to be on the scene if somebody just died?
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't want to see that.
So I was there the night that incident that you just talked about with the child and stuff, but I left like an hour before. And I'm so glad I left because I wouldn't want to see all that shit going down. I mean, it's just silly. So, anyways, be smart, people. The people that listen to our podcast are obviously smart.
Oh, yeah.
And drive Toyotas.
No, they don't drive Toyotas. They listen to Snail Trail. They drive Toyotas. But anyways.
Where's the revy button?
Where's the rev button? I think it's right here. Ha! There it is.
Yes. See? There's a Toyota button. No Jeep button.
Right.
All right. So what else? Did we shout out all your sponsors? Did we cover all the bases?
I think so.
Because Chris, you got anything else?
No, I think we've covered a great amount of information, and it's always a very big pleasure to have both of you on the show. I'm looking forward to being on the lake bed very shortly, hanging out again up at Upper Hammertown Heights, and of course the excitement of fireworks every night and live music and
Ultra 3 Tuesday night.
Ultra 3 Tuesday night and all the other shenanigans that are going
Taco
on.
Tuesday at King. Yeah, there's all kinds of shit going on.
There's going to be so much going on. It's going to be great. It's the King of the Hammers experience is so vital, and it's grown so much over the years. I mean, to think about, that road driving in Boone Road. It used to be, not much going on until you went through the arch and you got in there. But now it's like there's so many people camping outside of the arch, and then of course approaching the 40, and then you go through the main entrance there, and all the different vendors, the showers, the restaurants, or whatever you want to call it, the dyno, that's all that stuff that's been set up along Boone Road inside.
The Ferris wheel. Don't forget the Ferris wheel.
That's right.
Is that coming back this year?
No idea. I hope so.
That's so great. Random.
So, exactly. I mean, it's turned into an awesome experience. You don't need to bring food. You can eat your meals. There's meals outside of Hammertown. There's like that restaurant outside of Hammertown. There's food inside of Hammertown. You can get a hot shower now.
Dane Brothers Pizza.
I mean, it's stupid. It's grown so much. So if you've never been to King of the Hammers, definitely check it out. Go to kingofthehammers.com, I believe is the website. And of course, follow Randy and Amber and their journey.
So shout out your socials.
I'm the Burrs.
Bomber Fabrication
for
both on the IG. Both are posting very regularly right now, and they're pretty active almost all the time, but definitely on the build up to Hammers. And I'm looking forward to it. I know our listeners are looking forward to it. Jason and I are going to be on the lake bed. I believe Jason's driving down on the 31st. I'm planning. It sounds like I'm going to be driving down on the 31st also.
Maybe 29th. Maybe 28th. I don't know.
Well, shit, just go right now.
Oh, before we wrap up, let's go now.
Thing. I saw this on, I think, Rock Sports Insiders, but I wanted to go, everybody, one by one. What's your favorite part of Hammers?
Favorite part of Hammer? Who's first? Oh, I'm first. For me, the favorite part of Hammer. Oh my God, the favorite part. That's hard to pinpoint. I gotta go with Saturday morning when everybody's lining up in, their cars in all the rows right before they pull out onto the track. So lining up and getting to go through and talk with the different drivers and give them fist pumps, and it's just electric morning. Yeah. It's a fucking electric morning. It's cold as shit. And they got the heaters going on the diffs to warm up the 250 weight freaking gear oil. But it's just, for me, that is like the pinnacle of KOH. It's like you got the best of the best out there on the lake bed. Everybody's charging for the win. Everybody's electric. It's just a cool experience to walk. And I walk past every single car that leaves on 44 morning. And it's extra special when you get to give a fist pump or a what up or a thumbs up to the driver. That's probably my pinnacle. My second, if I can throw in a second, is just all the people that I get to meet and interact with, and our camaraderie and shit on the lake bed. I just look forward to all that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, next.
Chris.
Oh, Chris!
I want to hear it.
You're getting put on the spot.
So I think one of my favorite parts, of course, is seeing everybody that the kind of kindling our friendships and out there on the lake bed up in Upper Hammertown Heights, and of course running into people down in Hammertown. And I do love the electricity of Saturday morning, well, both Friday and Saturday morning with the race starts. Those are probably one of my favorite parts. And of course, the nightly fireworks shows are pretty fun too.
Yeah, you can't discount those.
Next.
Randy.
That's a tough one. I was sitting here thinking while you guys were talking about what I would say. the actual race, if things are going well, it's the most exciting, most I don't know, exciting is, I guess, the best word I can come up with for it. It's just insane.
Euphoric.
I don't know if euphoria would be the word I would use for that, but
It's kind of a slow word.
Cars are coming at you. You're making passes. You're making cool maneuvers and almost dying, but not. And all the stuff that happens in the car on a good day is exciting. And then, half the time something goes bad, and then, you went from the most exciting thing that you've ever done in your life to
Fuck.
now we're out. So that's obviously not any fun. It's always fun to see all the people, see all our friends, do some wheeling. In years past, this year I won't have a trail rig, unfortunately, on the lake bed, but in years past, on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, when we go out and run hard rock trails in the trail cars, that's always been a highlight.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like the day after Christmas. It's like when the new year starts again.
You get to play with your new toys.
No, get to play with the race cars that aren't broken. Well, that's been my experience at least.
Right?
The same years that it hasn't broken, I went out and wheeled it afterwards.
All right, now it's you, Amber.
Oh, my favorite part. Mine is a lot like Chris's. I really like going down and seeing all my family there, and everybody that I wheel with during the year is there, and all my friends are there, and getting to catch up with people that I only see once a year at Hammers, and then doing tech and contingency. And like, I know some racers just don't they'll send their pit crew to go with the car to do tech and contingency, and they'll go do something else. But I've always loved sitting in that line and meeting all the fans. And there's a couple families that come by with their kids that I get to watch their kids grow up every year.
That's cool.
Yeah. And obviously, like, the races, like Randy said, like, the highlight. It's like the pinnacle of everything. When you're having a good day, you're having a good day. And like in my Samurai, it's always kind of been an day, but we're out doing it. Like you're still, you got those blinders on and you're just doing it.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing like it.
And I mean, you've gone from two extremes. I mean, arguably,
the least capable
vehicle on the lake bed, but you're the underdog, and that's a cool story, right? That we've covered over the years to one of the most capable vehicles on the lake bed.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've gone from two extremes. It's not like, oh, I'm just graduating to the 40, 800 class. No, you're freaking just skyrocketed. So,
oh yeah,
it's been fun. It's been fun to follow. That's a great question. The what's your highlight at KOH? There's so many highlights, but it's cool to hear all our different perspectives.
Yeah.
Good question.
No
Good answers, everybody.
Yeah. Good.
Well,
Good.
And our listeners can have their own experiences down on the lake bed too. So,
that's it. Whatever you're into.
And if you want to tell us your experiences, you can call us at 408-800-5169 and leave a voice message with us. It'll be played on the air about your favorite KOH experiences. So if you feel like typing out a novel, you can send us an email.
Oh, there you go.
To Chris at wheelingwinewhiskey.com or Jason at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. But you can also go to our IG, which is at Wheeling Wine Whiskey, and DM us. And that's a great way to interact with Jason and I at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Don't forget to the lake bed.
Or come out to the lake bed.
Or come out to the lake bed and come up to Upper Hammertown Heights, or run into us down in Hammertown, because we're always wandering around, and I'll be riding around on my e-bike.
Oh, your new e-bike. What's
That's
the top
right.
speed on that thing? Randy wants to know.
28 miles per hour.
28. Can you handle that, Randy?
I'll try.
It's got all the torques.
Oh boy.
Anything else?
No, I think we're good, man. This has been fun. This has been a little different, and evolution here. I appreciate the friendship of Randy and Amber. This is great. So, and getting some cool insights on KOH. So, looking forward to KOH 2025, Chris.
Just
Can you
a few
imagine
days away. Just a few days away.
It's coming up quick. And Amber just gained 5 extra days to hashtag KOH prep. So,
Everybody safe travels down to King of the Hammers, Johnson Valley, and fucking Boone Road.
In fucking Boone Road. All right. And with that,
we're out.